Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to round 6 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series. Once again, brought to you by Inside Lane Productions and Quasi Esports. We've got Kobe Jordan behind the cameras tonight and back for another week. Joining me in the booth tonight is James Watson. How you going, James?
I'm going all right.
That's good. Hopefully not too late there for you or too early.
Oh, it's fine. It's only 5:30 in the morning.
That's
doing
wake up
good.
time. That's wake up time for you, isn't it?
Sure, let's go with that.
Alrighty. Well, we'll let you wake up, get the coffee boiling, and the jug on, and we'll go through a recap from last week. So we were at the iRacing Super Speedway last week, and we saw Chris Bleakley sneak a win in from a 4-wide finish to go 2 in a row for wins. Craig Roffey right on his heels, coming home in second place, and Shane Roffey finishing in third. Tonight we are at Kentucky Motor Speedway for 100 laps. Can Chris Bleakley be the one to go 3 in a row? Stay tuned to find out tonight. Currently our top 10 standings. We will run through those in just a moment when we get them up on the screen. Alrighty, so Craig Roffey still leading the championship coming into round 6. Chris Bleakley up into second place with Adam Malone in third there. Rick Vincent in fourth, Gary Wellman in fifth. Cade Donnelly and Scott McClintock equal on 6th. Nicholas Walsh in 8th with Tony Roffey in 9th and Todd Maxfield in 10th. Just finishing up the practice session, and we will be rolling over to qualifying in just a moment. 5 minutes of qualifying, but 1 lap to get the job done to see who takes pole for tonight's race. What are your predictions for tonight, James?
I think we're, in theory, going to see a lot more conventional of a race than we saw last week. You know, obviously, iRacing Super Speedway is a much different type of racing than what we'll be dealing with here. This is going to be a lot more, downforce heavy. You're going to have to deal with more aero wash. You're just going to have to drive the car a lot more, and that means we're going to have tire wear that these drivers are going to have to worry about instead of thinking tires. Who needs tires? Last week only scrubbing off maybe 1% if you're lucky. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot more actually driving intensive for these guys this week.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on the screen there, so we are at Kentucky Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles or 2.41 kilometers there, 100 laps, as we said. And our pit speed info there, 65 miles per hour, 105 kilometers per hour. The luxury of the supercars, you got that pit limiter, so you can lock that in to avoid speeding. I don't know if that's banned in the setup or not. We might get word on that from Steve Hoppert a bit later. But I used to use that cheat a little bit.
What? You want me to talk? Jeez.
Yeah. Well, you wear your hair, you got to say g'day as well.
Yeah,
Everyone
get
at home.
on your voice, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sitting in the back eating all the peanuts.
Peanuts or popcorn?
Peanuts.
I was going to say the salary of the league owner doesn't quite chop it for popcorn.
No, cheap peanuts. Yep, just peanuts.
Yeah, well, peanuts, as Kobe's in the background there as well. The price of peanuts, pistachios, I know they're quite expensive because I bought some on the weekend. But
it's what I'm getting paid, peanuts. So,
so you're on a good wage then.
Yeah, well, you guys get more money than I do.
That's all good. We're getting a bit sidetracked here anyway. But
Well.
currently, we got Troy Davidson there sitting on top of pole with the 31.5, just scraping in on the 5s there. Gary Wellman with 31.6, just on board with Scott McClintock there. Determination to try and get on that pole position. Let's see where he's going to slot into. up into 5th there with the 32. Couldn't quite get that done. But, a few more drivers there to go yet. We're only halfway through the qualifying session. Peter Matson on screen now. As mentioned, 1 lap to get the job done. So you make a mistake in your qualifying run and you're not going to be having a good result. Some guys opt to, have a bit of a slower run and start at the back. And other guys opt to just go flat out and see how they go, see where they can put the car.
Yeah, I can't imagine many guys will want to be doing that strategy. I feel like it's going to be pretty hard to pass here. I feel like this is going to be real track position intensive race. So if you kind of start in there in the 13th, 14th spot, you might be in for a long night.
It's a beautiful track, though, and there's plenty of width. So I'm actually expecting us to pull some 3 wide stuff here throughout the night at some point.
I'm hoping.
Well, speaking on the track, I've got some track info for you as well for everyone at home. We'll run through that later in the race, but we'll let the guys finish up their qualifying. We've got a minute to go, 4 drivers left, so we'll go to a quick ad break and then we'll come back with the starting grid.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Alrighty, we are back, and thank you everyone at home tuning in tonight for the round 6 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series. The results are in, and we will have those up on the screen there for you now. So, taking the pole tonight is Troy Davidson alongside Gary Wellman for Simboys front row. Craig Roffey and Nicholas Walsh on the second row. Tony Roffey and Scott McClintock on the third row. Andy Barber and Chris Bleakley on the fourth row. Shannon Wright and Carl Withy on the fifth row. Good to see Carl on the grid.
And starting 11th, you have the 144 Perry Anastakis and the 60 of Michael Ladder. Next row is the 16 of Todd Maxfield and Cade Donnelly in the 41. On row 8, you have Peter Matson in the 173 and Tim Blundell in the number 4. Peter Jones in the 13 and Jared Williams on row 9. And on row 10, Ryan Barber in the 05 starting shotgun on the field.
Alrighty, well, there is the evening weather at Kentucky Speedway. So, nice cool air temp of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temp 69, so not much difference in the track there at the moment. A wind speed southeasterly and 11 miles per hour there. Partly cloudy, so no rain forecast. So should be a good, cool evening night there in Kentucky.
Yeah, the track temp at 69, yeah, that's not bad. Actually, that's just a low 20s in Celsius. So that's going to be a little bit cool on the tyres out there. Shouldn't have any deterioration issues with the heat or anything like that. So that's going to be great.
Well, I'm sure there'll be a few guys that'll be thankful for the cooler temp tonight. So help try and look after those tyres. I know Kentucky can get a bit of tyre wear.
Oh yeah, yeah. It certainly won't take care of the tyre wear from the track itself with the banking and the setup on these cars and stuff, PJ.
Yeah, well, we'll throw Kobe under the bus here. He's already predicting meatballs. So whoever gets a meatball, you can thank Kobe later.
Yeah, I think it's when he was talking about dinner, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, spag bowl and meatballs. That's Kobe's shout all around for the whole grid. But we are about to go racing. So pace truck is off, and we're about to go green. Troy Davidson bringing us to the green flag. I'll let James take this one away.
All right, and there's the green flag, and we're under race already. Some argy-bargy in the back. Looks like I believe that was Craig Bleakley having to jump out of line to not run over the car in front of him. That was a bit of an interesting start for tonight's festivities.
Yeah, Chris won't appreciate that a lot at all. He's a fairly clean racer, and he'll push his way forward. I don't think it'll really bother him too much. He'll settle down and just get on with the job.
No, but that'll definitely get you up in the action when that happens.
I think they just went back and had a bit of a look at that. We went green, and it didn't look like anyone went on green. So Chris Bleakley got the jump on that green flag, but yeah, no one in front of him went. So he just pulled out there, a little bit of a good avoidance there, not to run into Scott McClintock in front of him. And as you see, everyone was a bit slow and taking off on green there.
That's exactly what's happened. Yeah, Chris has gotten a good start, and nobody in front of him went. Yeah, so a good call from Paul Jackson there.
Yep. Went and done my homework there. Something that Carl would usually do if he was there, but he's on track tonight.
Oh, it's nice to hear you get one right, mate.
But, anyways, we've got Gary Wellman out the front of this race now, so he's taking the lead away from Troy Davidson in second, and Craig Roffey in third, Tony Roffey fourth, and Nicholas Walsh in fifth. So looks like Gary Wellman is off already, and he is trying to gap everyone to start with.
Yeah, already half a second up. It's a pretty healthy lead just coming to lap 4 already.
Yeah, definitely coming up on a lap car there as well. That's actually Carl Withy, so not too sure. I think he might have had a penalty or something because he's already been through pit lane. So I'm just going to go back myself and I'll see what happened there. Yeah, not too sure there. Just when I went back, he's just come down pit road on lap 2, and then he's gone off the grass down pit lane. So maybe he's got some technical problems, just getting sorted out. Hasn't been in the driver's seat for a little bit maybe, and back out on track. So
yeah, and I know he isn't feeling the greatest right now health-wise. So yeah, it just brings it out.
You can see there on track, you missed the grass, you missed the lawn mowing, Kobe. But we are back with our leaders. So Wellman, Troy Davidson on the back of Wellman now, and both of them have a nice little gap to Craig Roffey behind. A few gaps forming through the rest of the field there, James.
Yeah, we're already starting to see a good chunk of single file racing. I'm really curious on what the strategy call is going to be for everyone. You know, as we already touched on a little bit, tire wear. I think personally, tire wear is probably going to be a concern. You know, we were ribbing Kobe about the meatballs earlier, but I feel like that's something you got to keep in the back of your mind. It's like, yeah, thankfully we are running at night, and it's not going to be as bad like if we were running in the daytime in that god-awful Midwestern heat. But I still feel like tires are going to be something you want to be aware of, and you want to protect them as long as you can.
Yeah, well, except for up the back straight and through the tri-oval, obviously, it looks like a lot of these guys are avoiding that outside line around the wall through the turns, at least because of the banking there, to try and keep that tyre wear down.
Well, while we're talking about this, I'll run through some track notes there I got earlier. So the track at Kentucky opened in the year 2000, but in 2016 they resurfaced the track and also did a little bit of reconfiguration. The banking went from 14 to 17 degrees, and in turns 1 and 2 they actually narrowed the track for a wider pit exit.
Well, that's it. I'm not sure. I'm guessing that this would be the compatible version to those stats. I'm not aware that this version of Kentucky is that old, because we do have a legacy version. So I'm guessing that this actually meets the statistics that you just talked about then.
Yeah, well, I believe the old Kentucky didn't have nice green safety barrier walls around the outside of it. It looks like, you know, Vegas or the old Atlanta sort of track, and similar to those. So they did a little bit of work there and changed it up a bit.
Yeah, it was long before the Quaker State sponsorship came in, and yeah, Legacy Kentucky is before the repave and reprofiling. It's funny though, even though they did repave it, there's still a solid amount of bumps here. Especially, there's this real nasty bump on the apron right in the tri-oval on the start-finish line. If you remember the finish for the NASCAR Cup Series race back in 2020 with, I believe it was Ryan Blaney, like monster trucking over that bump when they were taking the white flag. One of the coolest pictures I've ever seen in racing. And yeah, this is a really nice facility. I was actually lucky enough to attend the race at 2019 when it was the Busch brothers going mano-a-mano for the win coming to the checkered. And yeah, this is a fantastic track, and really hope to see NASCAR or IndyCar come back, because this is a really cool facility, and it's put on some really good races over the years.
Well, there seems to be a bit of a mindset amongst NASCAR, administration, I suppose, as well as some of the track owners, about narrowing some of these wider tracks. And this is one that I'm hoping they don't. I mean, they've already molested Atlanta beyond recognition. So we'll see what happens with that anyway. But at the moment, we've got a nice, wide, beautiful track here. We believe it's it is the updated version in iRacing, which means that it should match the stats that PJ called out a minute ago. So we're looking at 17-degree banking and a great surface with a few bumps and ripples in it to make it challenging, as pointed out by James Watson. So great stuff.
Well, let's go to the YouTube chat for a little bit, and for everyone at home, Ed Foster jumping in the chat there. Good to see you, Ed. Been a while, but apparently Troy had a win in week 13, Legends cars today, and a pole tonight. So hopefully he can go back-to-back wins today. We'll see how that goes for him tonight.
And great to see Sarah Kay in the chat as well, live on the YouTube chat. and she loves these races and usually takes part in the conversation on there. So, g'day Sarah, g'day Ed, and Aaron Dillon from Sim Boys is also in there as well. So we've got Peter Jones as well as we've got a whole group there, as well as some clown called Steve Hoppert. So he's commenting in there as well with useless information. So yeah, so great to have you all in the live chat on YouTube tonight.
Well, shall we throw you under the bus again? But I think that's Will Jesberg, I think, if I'm right, Kobe. Apparently got his sim rig back together in one piece, so might see Will on the track soon.
I might have to run a rookies league for Will to actually qualify for the World Cup.
Damn, he was just massacred on live television, YouTube.
G'day, Will. How you doing? He's probably out looking for the unfriend button on Facebook right about now for me.
Oh, speaking of a big group, look at this. They got a whole lot of cars under a blanket right here. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I just went back to this group, so I think it's led by Craig Roffey at the front there, and then here we got a few other, actually Todd Maxfield at the front there. So Todd Maxfield third with Craig Roffey fourth and Shannon Wright fifth. So got a few of the Rogue boys in there, some of the Sim boys in there too. Andy Barber just at the back of this pack as well.
Nice to see Nick Walsh doing all right too. He pulled off a fifth last week at the end of that on the final lap. Picked himself up a couple of spots and actually got himself a fifth place finish at IR Super Speedway last week in that 75 lapper. So great to see him pushing at the front again after a fifth place last week. So good luck to Nick. Hope he has another good run tonight.
Yeah, shout out to Nick there. We'll be watching that one, and yeah, hopefully he has a good finish tonight, back in the top five.
Now, another thing that's on my mind is, do we have the fuel numbers on what we're looking at fuel mileage wise?
79.5 litres for a tank. And if Vegas is anything to go by, they're probably looking at around about 20, probably looking at 30 to 35 laps. This is a 1.5 miler, much like Vegas was, and I think it was around the 35 plus laps. Some of guys will get better than that because they're clutching a lot to save fuel, so that they can actually bring down the amount of stops they need to do. Some of the field will get 30 to 35 laps depending on how they drive and obviously how hard they push there, James.
Well, I believe this second group here is already on the clutch pedal, so be interesting to see if Wellman and Davidson out the front there are clutching or not. They've got the buffer of Carl Withy in front, so they can save a little bit of fuel out there, not running on their own. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how their fuel goes to the rest of the pack back here.
Yeah, well, it's great to see Carl actually out there. Carl Wilkinson with you, the Murray Walker of sim racing commentators, and great to see him out on track having a bit of a good time out there tonight. He doesn't get the chance very often.
Yeah, and right now he's Wellman and Davidson's best friend right now, allowing them to draft and get some fuel save in.
Just watching that on the second pack there. Big washout from Todd Maxfield, so not sure what happened there. He was at the front and run it right up to the wall and dropped back. So Paranistakis there at the front of this second pack now, with Shannon Wright on the outside.
And it looks like on timing and scoring, Scott McClintock is now 1 lap down. Oh wow, he's about to go another lap down.
So apparently he started on a wet tyre compound there, so pitted on lap 20, so he's first to stop off the early jump. Maybe just didn't set that car up right, or thought maybe try and get a early benefit of the wet tyre and maybe an undercut or something going on, but
And an interesting question from Edward Foster in the live chat there, whether we expect the undercut on tyres to be beneficial, or whether they'll just clutch the fuel and try and stretch it out as much as possible, wear the tyres right down to almost nothing, and just pit in the normal cycle of things. I believe that's what Ed was asking. There's only one problem with that. I'm a poker player. I make like I got them, and I can't answer that. I think James is probably more qualified to answer that question than I am. Do you think there'll be a tyre undercut that's going to be beneficial, James? Or do you think they'll just go with the normal pit cycle?
Honestly, it's a hard question to answer. It seems like the overcut, in all of my experience, seems to be a lot more overpowered on the iRacing than what we see in real life. And, you know, yeah, you're gaining a good advantage on your competitors pitting early and having those extra few laps on fresher tires. But you're also going to be on worn tires a lot longer. And that changeover period happens a lot quicker than you think. And so all the time, it really seems like the guys that wait to pit have that better advantage because they're able to keep a better overall time longer on that next stop than the guys that stopped earlier, especially if you're already trying to save your tires while saving fuel and not really losing all that much time on your current tires to begin with.
No worries.
yeah, well, the more you look after your tyre, obviously, the faster you're going to be. So if you go out there and burn off your tyres in the first 10 laps, then you're going to be at the back of the field.
Well, that's it too. I mean, it depends on how hard you want to run. It's what it's going to come down to, because it's like with running at Vegas. I mean, any 1.5 miler that's hard on tyres, you can go hard, pit more often, and try and sort of just work off speed, or you can actually be sensible about it, conserve fuel, conserve tyres, and try and play the long game and be there at the end.
Well, what I want to watch at the moment is you got a breakaway from that second pack, Kay Donnelly and Parry Anastakis. So they are on the hunt down on Wellman and Davidson at the moment, and they are closing that gap. So the fuel clutch and the saving there looks like they're closing that gap quite quickly now.
Yeah, it looks like they've said enough with the fuel save, we're pushing.
So just wonder, obviously Wellman's usually one to save that fuel earlier, I've noticed, but he'll get his laps done at the front and tend to save some fuel towards the end of the race. But Parry Anastakis now coming down pit lane, so he's taking the jump at lap 32.
Yeah, it looks like he might be trying to turn it into a 2-stop and trying to get that little bit of an undercut going, like what we were talking about. I feel like most of the field is going to be pitting here within the next lap or two, obviously, being a bit of a captain obvious here.
Well, that'll give us a good indicator of the laps anyway, as Steve had mentioned a bit earlier on how everyone's going to go. So, bit of a mix-up at the moment, but looks like Kobe's shouted dinner for the first time tonight. Tony Roffey with the meatball. You know, you could change things up here, Kobe. You got the spaghetti and meatballs for someone. You could go a meatball sub from Subway for someone if you like.
Yeah, that was unrepeatable on air. But yes, Kobe certainly talking to us in the background there, our producer, pushing the buttons and giving us some great pictures.
This is the fun that I used to have when I pushed the buttons in the background and used to cop it from the commentators. So it's about time I gave some back to them as well. One day we might get a response from Kobe on air.
We always get responses from Kobe. We just can't broadcast any of it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Here we go. Race leaders in.
Yep. Pit
Whoa.
lane.
Oh no!
Oh,
My
Kate
goodness.
Donnelly. The big rear brake lock up there. He's locked up those rears badly and certainly spun it around there. Come in a little bit too fast, too much brake. And that's basically going to hold him up in there for a while. Fair bit of damage on the front air dam of that vehicle.
Almost looked like a big brake check coming into pit lane too, coming off the track there. But I was watching that pit entry there from Wellman and Davidson. It looked rather a slow entry coming in there on the screen there. But
in fact, it may not have been too much brake. He may have actually geared down a little bit too fast. If he was gone from third to second, he may have actually double shifted and gone down to first, and that will actually have the same effect as you witnessed right there, which is where it was lock up the rears and just spin it round, nose it into the wall. Cade was a passenger while that was going on.
well, I'll jump back. I'll have a look, and I'll just jump on board with Cade and just check that. So coming in, he was in fourth, third, and I was in third with a big brake lockup, I think.
Right, okay. I thought he may have actually just managed to double shift and taken it down to first gear, and that would have given the same effect as what he actually got. But just certainly over braking coming in there will do the same thing if you're carrying too much speed.
Well, it doesn't look like he spent too long in pit lane, so maybe just washed his hands of that little bit of damage there, or didn't sustain too much, and
He'll
back on track.
Probably try and take care of that again later on. He'll fix a bit here and a bit there and get it all back. It's probably not going to affect the vehicle that much. He's the one that'll have to decide whether that front end nose damage is actually going to affect the downforce and the speed he's carrying, and how it's going to affect his race, and he'll have to decide that for himself. He'll fix a bit at each pit stop until he actually gets it all sorted out, and then towards the end of the race, he should have a fairly straight and clean car with a bit of speed and a bit of stability.
Looks like Craig Roffey doing a bit of clutching there. I just heard on the audio as well. Your race leader currently. But Ed with another question in the chat tonight. So the aero push in the turns for the Gen 3 compared to the old car. So these cars are very hard on that front right and almost lifting that front left up on the car as well. So
We've actually had... No, sorry, I was just going to add to what you were saying. We've actually had a couple of instances where guys have actually reported that that left front is actually lifted off the track surface. In some instances, just the way that the car is to be set up. But because these are actually a road car, the setup does not allow positive camber. So when these were trying to be set up as a NASCAR, the difference in the setup between the Gen 2 and the Gen 3 won't allow these to be set up any better than they are for the right front at the moment. So we've got the right front as far towards positive camber as we can get it. As far as pushing up the track is concerned, it does come down to which track it is, because some tracks will push up further than others. Here, it's probably a problem. So it's fairly apt that Ed brings that up. This is a track that you will get a bit of push to the outside if the setup is sort of so inclined.
Yeah, and aero wash is already such a really hard thing to deal with in a conventional stock car. You know, adding in all those setup pickups that you have to work around for this series, it just makes tire wear that much more of a nightmare and really sets apart who can whisper their tires the best.
Yeah, that's it. These guys, well, Gary Wellman, for instance, for the first couple of rounds, took a lot of time to get used to the way these needed to be driven, and they are a different beast altogether than the Gen 2s. So that sort of comes into the answer for Ed's question. The Gen 2 and the Gen 3, completely different driving style for each car. These are a different car altogether. It's not just going from Gen 2 to Gen 3. So, you know, one Mustang model to another. They do drive differently. They set up differently. And the options in the fixed setup are certainly different.
Looks like Nicholas Walsh there's just the second dinner date for Kobe on the meatball list tonight. Almost halfway through this race already, so this is going pretty quick. But what we'll do is we'll go to an ad break coming up to the halfway mark, and we will come back with you shortly.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like SimRigs and TrackRacer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Alrighty, we are back, and once again, thank you everyone tuning at home, getting around the socials and commenting on YouTube for us to have a conversation with tonight. And we are here for the round 6 of the Doogie Mobile and Everything Simulated OzOval V8 Supercar Series at Kentucky Speedway. 100 laps. We are 54 laps in. And Troy Davidson is our current race leader. And just on the back of Troy's car there, Wellman in behind him. So Simboy's still 1, 2, and even 3 with Todd Maxfield almost 5 seconds behind to third. So bit of a gap there from third back. Looks like Pariana Stark has just taken over third place again from Todd. So those two have been having a bit of a tussle tonight.
Yeah, great to see Parry having another good run. He's had a few good runs in this series and the last series. And great to see him challenging up the front, the pointy end there, up against Todd Maxfield.
Just got them on screen there. So Todd going for that high line and Harry down low. And thought he might have given the wall a bit of a kiss then, but I think he just kept that off it.
Todd actually had a bit of a rough run last week at IR Speedway. He dropped down a lap fairly early in the race and then struggled, played catch-up for the rest of the event. I think he still finished at least 1 lap down at the end of the 75 laps. But, yeah, it was just one of those instances where he went down a lap and just didn't get a chance to make it back, unfortunately.
Yeah, sometimes that can be a hard thing to do, and especially if there's no cautions. You're always fighting and chasing that lucky dog, and, you know, then the next guy in front goes down a lap on pace, and, you know, it's a uphill battle sometimes.
Well, the stupid award for last week, of course, went to yours truly. I had a bit of a dummy spit about something, put it into the wall, and then realised that at the end of the race what I'd done was thrown away a top 5 or better finish. So, that takes the Darwin Award right there. Stupid act on my part, but anybody who was watching last week, it was in the commentary, the boys thought that I'd actually had a technical failure, and unfortunately the only technical failure was in my brain. So, everything else was fine, and I just somebody asked me afterwards, what the hell was that? And I said, that's me having a dummy spit. That's what happened. So, they threw away a top 5 or better finish and what would have been a really good position in the championship. So, these things happen, unfortunately, and different race, different week, different track, and the boys are having a good run out there tonight.
Yeah, stuff like that, man. It always sucks when it happens. I remember I was in a league race about a year and a half ago, and I threw away a podium because I tried to reach over and turn my fan on while on a straightaway, and I still wasn't able to keep the car straight. Just put it in the wall.
Unfortunately, it also saw me get disqualified from the results because it was intentional and it brought out a caution, and therefore that was a penalty going to me. And we learned from these things. I should have handled the situation better, and I didn't, and paid the price for it. So unfortunately, that's the way it went. But as I said, different track, different cars. Different situation, and we're looking at some fantastic footage there coming out of the cameras from Kobe. It's the back of Nicholas Walsh's car, I believe. No, it's actually Troy Davidson.
Well, we've all been there, we've all done it, and we're still here. We come back, we say sorry, but we move on. It happens. Heat of the moment.
Yeah, doing this is a bit like working at Summer Nats. For 20 years you go, oh, why am I still doing this? So, yeah. But we come back every week, we race every week, we commentate every week, whatever it is that we've got to do. Because, in the end, it's just a pile of fun.
Well, hopefully you're not wearing a high-vis vest and that says security on the back of it, Steve.
No, I was the stealth one. They didn't see me coming.
Alrighty, well, we've got a bit of a group here once again, so we're gonna have to try and nut this one out. What do we got?
Whoa,
Scott McClintock, Chris Bleakley, Ryan Barber, Andy Barber.
Oh no! Oh!
That looks like McClintock on Bleakley, but the boys are
doing the championship.
They're continuing on. No major damage coming out of that for either of those guys. Chris giving the wall a good touch-up. In fact, it was, Scott, Steve McClintock, not really aware that Chris was going to come flying through, and they were just a little bit too close to one another.
Well, I picked up the comms on that one, so there was a full lock if you saw Scott McClintock's right front tyre there. So he washed up the track there. He had some tyre failure, so he understeered on that one. Oversteered on that one, and blew that tyre, I think, and copped a meatball. So
yeah, I did actually catch that. I caught that on the in-race comms there with Scott actually apologising to Chris, saying it was a tyre issue, and he's now entered the pits and left there and rectified that problem.
Yeah, and like what Paul said, you could see the moment he went into the corner, that thing just absolutely went straight. There was nothing he could do on that. That car just did not want to turn anymore. And
well, that's a graphic demonstration of the way these cars push up the track, but it's not related to the aero, as in the question we got from Ed Foster earlier. The aero itself probably doesn't have as much to do with it pushing up the track as the setup does, because as we said, we're unable to actually set the things up the way the Gen 2s were, because the iRacing setup is actually different, and it doesn't actually allow us to make the adjustments that the original setups had for the previous type of car. So it does tend to push up the track more at some than others, track-wise. But you could see that was definitely pushing up the track there. That was everything to do with the fact that tyre was very, very worn and about to give up, and no grip whatsoever in that right front. So, of course, poor old McClintock heading up the track there as Chris Bleakley came around the outside.
Yeah, and that really puts a damper on Bleakley's winning streak trying to continue.
And there we've got father and son, Ryan Barber with Andy Barber in behind one of the Everything simulated cars. So father and son there. That's the son up the front, the black and white car, and the red and white is the father, Andy Barber. So father and son racing as he comes together with that
Shannon Wright.
That's Shannon Wright in the 023 Everything simulated car. Just a little bit of paint swapping there, a bit of push and shove, and Rubbin's racing boys. So they're having a bit of a time out there, and they're certainly putting everything into it.
Yeah, a little bit little bit of right side romance, and they're still going at it. This is a heck of a battle. Probably pretty late into a lot of their tire stints right now too. But you love to watch this.
Well, Andy Barber getting that job done, and Nicholas Walsh now coming through on Shannon Wright as well. Got Tim Blundell there on the inside now for his turn. Big wash up there from Nicholas Walsh. So clapped the wall. Looked like Ryan Barber. I'm not sure what happened there. He's dropped out of that too, up on the high side. So
yeah, Ryan seemed to shoot straight up to the outside there and wash off a whole pile of speed. So maybe that right front is, pardon me, just about had it on Ryan's car on that 05. And that might have been just simply pushing up track. Oh yes,
yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
there's not much left on that right front. I'd say he's got a lot of left lock steering in that, not going anywhere but to the right. So plenty of meatballs out there at the moment. Tony Roffey, we're told, is getting the meatball flag. So. He'll be in the pits. There he is right now in the 85 car.
And Michael Ladder joining him in pit lane as well with the meatball. I was kind of hoping here I could throw a student becomes a teacher moment, but we'll have to see if Ryan can school the old man tonight or not. But he's coming down pit lane this time round. Looks like Shannon Wright may be following. Nope, it's Carl Withy following him into pit lane as well.
Oh no, he overshot.
Yep, that'll hurt. So Ryan Barber overshooting his pit bay and having to reverse back a bit. That will. Yeah, it doesn't seem like much, but that couple of seconds it takes to overshoot and move back and then get started with the pit stop, with the servicing, that's that difference. And to be honest, I think that's Troy Davidson, our leader, with Gary Wellman behind him. And by the time Ryan actually enters the track here, that's going to put him a lap down.
Yeah, rough mistake, and it wasn't much. It only looked like a little bit of the splitter was over, but it was enough to say, nope, you gotta throw it in reverse.
Yep. The pit boss there saying too far. You know, come back, and that's what he's had to do. And the time it takes to do that has actually put him down a lap. Although he probably would have been challenged to stay in front of these two, even if he'd gotten a clean pit stop out of that, because they're on the move. Although they're going to have to pit again, whereas Ryan might be right to get through to the end of this one. He's only got about 25 laps to go, or 26 in his case, because he's now a lap down. Whereas these guys will need to pit again. And here they come, Troy Davidson and Gary Wellman into the pits. So I'll hand it back over to PJ. Tell us what's happening.
Well, I was just looking through the list there, and Todd Maxfield pitted as well. So we'll see how that compares to Ryan Barber, as Todd Maxfield had been sort of sitting up in that third, fourth spot earlier in the race. So we could be looking at a quite a good stop there and position for Todd Maxfield. So we'll see where he comes out in relations to Wellman and Davidson as teammates. No, Ryan Barber is just getting that lap back now, but he'll still have to get around the track again to catch up to everyone. And Perry and Starkis through pit lane as well. So Perry and Todd were our third, fourth sitting drivers. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where everything plays out after these stops.
Well, what this has done is actually mixed it up a fair bit, but that puts Craig Roffey in the lead with Nick Walsh in second. And then Andy Barber and Chris Bleakley in the third and fourth, with Timo Blundell up into the top 5 now.
Very good to see Tim up in the top 5 there. Hopefully we can come home strong with Tim. Get some more new faces up in the top 5 and into the booth as well for podium spots.
As we see Peter Jones, I think that is coming in.
Bit of a dark car there to see, a dark horse.
Yeah, it's all black with gold trim. So not quite the John Player Specials type stuff, but it is black with the gold trim. So, in fact, car 4, which is Tim Blundell, a little bit of a story behind why he actually chose that number. His father actually raced in real life at Speedway in sports sedans and ran the number 4. So Tim likes to run the number 4 here to honour his old man. So how good's that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Always good to see those sort of or hear those stories. A little bit of history and racing in the family.
I just chose my number because I had a toy car that had it.
Well, mine's my birthday, so it doesn't get much more simple than that.
Well, I went for the birthday, and then I had another mate who was running the same number at times, so I changed to the kids' birthdays.
Yeah, well, for a long time in sim racing, I ran the number 81, but it was actually getting harder and harder to get that in leagues these days. So the easy option was just to go with a higher odd number, such as 131, which is 13th of the 1st. It's like I said, it's my birthday, so there was just that simple. It was an easy choice, and most people don't realise what it means, but anybody who knows me knows that's what it is. So yeah.
Yeah.
And we know what Ed Foster races now is 53. That's because it's Herbie. The love bug.
You just put that in the chat. I'm still yet to see his car split in 2 and keep going, but we might see that one day.
I think he's tried a couple of times.
He's still bloody fast, even if he was half a car. Well, we got 19 laps to go, and caution free. Kobe's trying to get us to pull the commentator's curse out, I think, and bring out a caution.
Yeah, he wants to jinx it, and
yeah, because Kobe doesn't have to sit and do race review.
Maybe you should throw him in there. There you go. Caution, 0 laps. We've had 5 lead changes through this race so far, even though those lead changes have probably just been Gary Wellman and Troy Davidson all over each other. Back and forth, trying to see who can lead the most laps and roll the dice on that one. Not even going to take a stab at guessing who has.
But yes, considering we've got such a low number of lead changes, that's also quite surprising. Low number of lead changes with, so far, no cautions. So a green race so far, and the boys are out there relying on their skill to actually get through the end of this, through the green flag pit stops, and avoiding going down a lap or two when that happens. Although we did see Ryan Barber go down a lap and then be able to pull that straight back not long after that. So that was very lucky for Ryan to be in that position where he was able to do that. But as we're looking at Tony Roffey and Craig Roffey at the moment sitting in behind Todd at Maxfield, and Maxfield is actually out of order. I believe he's actually not necessarily in that position ahead of them. He's about to go down a lap.
Well, we've still got 4 drivers that haven't made their second stop yet, so they're leaving that one a bit late. I wonder if they can try and make it a one-stopper. It'll be interesting to see, but Peter Matson with a meatball. Looks like a bit of damage on the front of his car.
That's not a tire meatball there. Something happened, putting it mildly.
fell asleep at the wheel, according to the comment that he's just posted in the live chat. So I sympathise, mate. I've been there, I've done that, and that certainly wakes you up when you whack that wall after you've nodded off.
Some of us even fall asleep in the broadcast booth.
Well, it looks like he done a Kay Donnelly into pit lane. So did the same thing, spun it into that wall on the inside.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it was. But he was actually pitting and said he had to pit because he was falling asleep at the wheel. So he was dozing off a little bit, and he's made the boo-boo coming into the pits. And, he's replicated what Kay Donnelly did earlier, except he actually lost the front off the nose of that. And that air dam front bar is actually sitting about 50 feet away on the other side of the pit entry. So a fairly decent whack into the wall there from Peter Madsen.
Well, needs an early night work tomorrow. So
and he's copping some Z's there at the moment in the live chat. So yeah, what a shame, Pete. But great to see you out there anyway, mate. Just a bit of a shame to go out that way.
Well, James had the coffee pot on, Pete, so you might be able to hit James up for a coffee later.
Yes, sir. I got plenty of spare. For now.
He's knocking it back. He's just going to scull the whole container there.
So a bit of a gap between first and second, 5 seconds we're told. And between first and second, which is Roffey and Andy Barber. Craig Roffey and Andy Barber. So, there won't be any student schooling the teacher tonight. Andy Barber certainly, out of the father-son combo, definitely got this one by the scruff of the neck.
Well, just want to see if we can bring up the lap since pitted once again. Because I believe Craig Roffey still hasn't pitted with 11 to go. So 40 laps since. Andy Barber, 39. Chris Bleakley and Nicholas Walsh, 41 also. So those guys are really trying to push that tank to its limit and get every drop of fuel, every bit of fumes out of that tank and try and make this a one-stop, I think. Don't know if they're going to get there. 10 laps to go. We'll see.
At the very least, hoping for that goose egg in the cautions to change. Because if you get a caution now, you're in pretty good position.
Yeah, well, pitting under caution wouldn't be a bad thing, especially the guys will probably take tyres as well, so you'd be able to get in, get your stop done with some fuel as well to get home. You'd still be sitting pretty good up the top there.
Yeah, like the track position change for these top four would be huge. And wouldn't that be crazy for Bleakley to keep the win streak going in a race that he got put into the outside wall? Fight for the lucky dog position right here if we do get that late yellow.
So you got Perry Anastakis, Todd Maxfield. I think might be Tony Roffey and Craig Roffey there. A little bit of a scrape, almost I heard there. Maybe a bit of tyre wear on a guard. Didn't look like anyone was in the wall. Good battle. This battle's been going on all race with Perry Anastakis and Todd Maxfield. So they're definitely racing for that podium spot tonight. If the top four can't make this a one-stopper,
and I just disappeared to take a bit of have a quick chat with Peter Madsen. Asked him if he wanted to come up and give us his driver's view on how the race has gone with the tyres and everything at this track. But he's very, very tired, and he's going to head off and get some sleep. He's just come back from Barcelona, and he's very, very jet lagged. So he felt like racing, and then by about lap 3, it got the better of him. So he's off to get some Z's, and we won't hear from him this week, unfortunately.
Well, from Barcelona to Kentucky Speedway to the land of Nod. That's quite an adventure. Just looking at that gap, Craig Roffey, almost 6.5 seconds to Andy Barber. So Craig's trying to stretch his legs out the front there. With 5 to go. This is shaping up to be what looks like a one-stopper. 4 to go now. So what we thought might have been a sprint race tonight with Wellman and Davidson's turning into a fuel race with Craig Roffey.
Yeah, this is going to be a monumental strategy call if they can pull this off. This is crazy because I believe they pitted on like around lap 40, according to what the graphics said. So be able to pull off, what, 60 laps of fuel? My math and my understanding of what's going on is correct.
Well, obviously 2 of those rogue vehicles are out of order, but they're working with their teammate to get him across the line. So Craig Roffey in the 030 car is the third one back there at the moment. He's the third one on your screen. And he'll work with his teammates, and then we've got a couple of sim boys just back in behind them. So Roffey leads this one from Andy Barber, and then Chris Bleakley looking at another podium in third place. Gary Wellman in 4th, and Troy Davidson in 5th.
Well, that's definitely shook things up tonight. I thought Wellman and Davidson will be in the hot seats tonight, but I don't know how the top 3 have done it. We're going to have to find that one out tonight. That's pretty good racing there. Good strategy. Going to the white flag this time round. And 1 lap for Craig Roffey. Almost a 7-second gap to Andy Barber now.
Not much chance of him losing this out. He's got 2 teammates with him, so everything will be the way they want it to be. I can't see there being a problem as he comes around to take that checkered flag, PJ.
Definitely, he's already on the blinkers, got the headlights flashing. He knows he's got the job done tonight, and he's found himself back on the top spot of the podium once more.
So our series leader takes victory.
And there is our results for tonight at Kentucky. Craig Roffey on the podium on the top spot, followed by Andy Barber in second place, and Chris Bleakley with a good solid third place there tonight. Couldn't quite get 3 in a row, but he's still on the podium. Gary Wellman coming home in 4th with Troy Davidson as your top 5. Perry Anastakis 6th, Todd Maxfield 7th, Nicholas Walsh 8th, Kate Donnelly 9th, and Tim Blundell rounding out your top 10.
And then finishing in 11th, you have Shannon Wright, Ryan Barber in 12th, Mike Lather 13th, Scott McClintock in 14th, Tony Roffey wrapping out the top 15, then Jared Williams, Carl Wilkinson Withy in 17th, Peter Jones in 18th, and Peter Matson finishing in the land of dreams in 19th.
Well, sweet dreams, Peter Matson. Hope you have a good night rest.
Sounds like he died. He didn't hit the wall that hard. Okay.
Wow.
And Craig even still had enough fuel to do a pretty nice burnout.
It looks like he's run out there. But, yep, we will go to a ad break, and we will be back with our podium spots in just a moment.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com. Racing isn't easy.
Alrighty, we are back. We have our podium in the booth with us tonight. So, round 4 of Kentucky Speedway done and dusted, 100 laps, and we are joined by third place going to Chris Bleakley. How you going, Chris?
Good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Another week, another podium. Not quite a win, but you still got up there on the podium.
Yeah, it wasn't quite to plan, but to minimise the damage, I suppose, and coming in third is not too bad.
Well, walk us through the start of the race there. We saw you jump out wide on the grid there at the green flag. Walk us through that.
Yeah, well, I think I just caught everyone napping. The green dropped and I just put my foot down and I almost ran straight up the back of McClintock, and I had to get straight out of it and out to the side, and I just didn't want to make sure I passed, because we're not allowed to break line before the start finish straight and pass, so I didn't want to pass him, which I very well could have with the momentum I had. But yeah, I think I just maybe got the reaction time spot on, because as soon as it hit green I just hit the throttle, and yeah, no one else moved.
Yeah, it did look like that you really nailed that start. So would have helped if you're on pole there, but not so much back in the field a little bit.
Yeah, well, qualifying's not my strongest suit. I seem to make it up all in the race, so maybe I need to work on qualifying a little bit more as well.
Qualifying out of 32.1, and the top qualifying for Troy Davidson was a 31.5, so not too far off it. You sort of, you gridded 8th, so more than halfway up the field. So I'm sure you can get there with the pace that you got. You might be able to jump a few more spots there.
Yeah, maybe practice a little bit of quali. Like, I didn't practice because obviously we throw the wets on for quali because they just heat up quicker for that 1 lap dash, and I hadn't done 1 lap on the wet, so I didn't know how it was going to react. And 3 and 4, I just pushed too hard on it, and yeah, washed off a lot of speed. So maybe if I practiced it, I probably might be able to nail some qualifying and get me a little bit further up, just in the mix. But that mistake at the start didn't help either. So yeah, bit of damage limitation, I suppose.
Well, you had a good run, and somehow you guys managed to pull out a 1-stopper. So I was quite amazed at that. I thought Gary or Troy would have had this one in the bag on their pace tonight, taken off from the start, and yeah, obviously it still became a fuel race at the end.
Yeah, I think it's just some of the other races that we've had at 1.5 miles, it's been very sort of even, whether the 2 stops faster or 1 stop. But yeah, to have that kind of gap back to Gary, it was a little bit unexpected. I was waiting to see him come up the relative, because I had damage from an earlier incident, so there was no way I could challenge Andy. I was just trying to ride behind him and use his toe to keep some sort of pace, because I had damage on the front end and I had no straight line speed.
Well, you might owe Andy a shout later on, but we'll let you wrap up for the night. And any shout outs you wanted to give?
Yeah, just 1-9 team, and also the Rogue lads sort of got like a little partnership going this season, so been good bouncing ideas off one another and helping each other work on strategy. So yeah, it's thanks to them, and yeah, just you guys in the booth and Steve for putting this all together, and our series sponsors.
All right, thank you, Chris, and look forward to seeing you on track next week.
See you then.
We'll pass over to James now for our second spot on the podium.
Andy Barber, heck of a run out there, and heck of a strategy call. So the burning question I got, how'd you pull it off?
I don't know. I think I got the hot tip from Adam. He couldn't actually get in the race. He was trying to frantically get that upload, the update done, and he couldn't make it. So he just said, it might be a fuel race and just try to get to that 50 laps. So that was a bit of a inside word from Adam, who couldn't make it. But yeah, it kind of turned out to be the case tonight.
So how'd you balance that with trying to save tires? Because obviously tire wear was a huge issue for practically everyone on the track. So on the massive fuel save, did you find it helped you save tire a lot easier?
100%, yeah. I found kind of clutching into the entry to the mid corner, it kind of helped the car turn through the corner without burning too much of that right front. So at the same time I was saving fuel, I was actually saving tyre as well. So towards the end of that run, I think lap 50 or 51 where we did pit, I only had 11% left on that right front, and it was from like a really strong fuel save. So it was kind of a balance between trying to get there at the end on fuel and get there on the tire.
So that was your plan from the very beginning then. Like, it wouldn't have mattered even if you started first or started last. You were going for that full fuel save strat.
100%. If you ride in my car, like lap 1, turn 1, I was on the clutch already. So even on the out lap, I think. So yeah, that was definitely the plan for me.
How'd you balance that with trying to focus on fuel saving while not getting too disrupted by everyone else behind you in that pack trying to be aggressive and make their own strategies work?
I just kind of had to pick my own battles during the race and know who I'm racing, because I knew that others were on two-stop strategies. In that second stint, I was kind of caught in a pack of cars that were on another strategy, and it kind of was, I think Carl was keeping me on the outside, and it was kind of burning my tyre for 3-4 laps, so I just decided to let it go and get back in behind and get back to the plan. And yeah, luckily at the end of the race, I could get to the finish line.
Yeah, you were in a heck of a hornet's nest on that and brought home a heck of a run. Any sponsor plugs or shout outs you want to bring out?
Yeah, of course. Just shout out to the folks watching up in Barham firstly, and yeah, just the team, Southern Stars, Mrs. Restore Garage, 7-Eleven, RBI Trading Cards, and lastly the podium. Congratulations to Chris in third, and Craig for winning the race. So I couldn't catch him, unfortunately. It hadn't come for him, but yeah, great race by him. And lastly, you guys for the broadcast that I've watching, going back and watching afterwards. So yeah, definitely will be doing that.
All right, well, awesome run, Andy. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week.
Thanks, James. Take care.
Alrighty, well, that was Andy Barber in second, and we move to our race winner for Kentucky, and that goes to Craig Roffey. Craig, how you going tonight?
Good, fellas. Good to be back up here in the booth. One step higher than last week, so yeah, it's good.
Yeah, another win under the belt, and that's just going to help extend your championship lead that little bit more. Yeah,
it always helps out. Main aim was for tonight to stop Chris getting 3 in a row. That's pretty much all I was here for. But no, yeah, we're working together, so yeah, we're helping each other out, and yeah, no, it's good to see him get on the podium after his little incident. So yeah, well done to Chris.
Yeah, good stuff. And yeah, if you couldn't do the job for 3 in a row, then you didn't want Chris doing it, did you?
Right, mate.
Yeah, we'll keep that one under the hush, eh?
Yeah. No, he knows.
It's all good, all in a bit of fun. But yeah, no. Did you plan to do a one-stopper tonight on the fuel strategy, or were you a bit concerned when Gary and Troy took off and left everyone behind?
Yeah, that was pretty much the plan. I did some testing during the week and got a certain amount of laps out of tires weren't an issue for me. I didn't have any problems. I still had 40% at the end after 51 laps, so that was good. It was fuel, so that was my main aim, just to save fuel. And yeah, the other fellas took off. And I was just thinking, surely they're going too fast for a one-stopper. So then I just let them go and sat in behind some other fellas. And on the second stint, got to thank the old man. He jumped in front of me, and I was in a bit of trouble with I couldn't get someone in front of me, so I could use the draft, fuel-wise. But yeah, lucky that happened, and it all worked out.
That first stop, was a bit shorter. It wasn't quite your 50 laps for your first stop, was it?
49, yep.
49, okay. Just looked like you maybe ran it a bit shorter than the to home.
49, because starting fuel was 76 litres, and you could fill it to 79. So there's 3 litres, so that takes you extra 2 laps. So I knew that straight away. So 49 plus 2 laps was 51.
Nice one. Still enough fuel to do a burnout at the end as well.
Yeah, thanks to the old man. So yeah, I think I had 0.8 of a lap. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, good to see you back on the podium once more. And we'll have to see if we can get anyone else in the podium to knock you and Chris out. But someone will rise to that challenge, I think. We'll have to see who that is next week.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will step up. There's a couple of Super Speedways coming, so that's a roll of the dice. And anyone can win that, so it'll be good.
Well, there's the challenge for everyone to knock these two out of the booth. So we'll see if anyone can do that next week. But anyways, we'll let this wrap up. Everyone wants to go and celebrate and go turn in for the night. So we'll let you have a shout out to all your sponsors.
Yeah, just the Rogue Boys. Thanks for coming out, helping me out at the end. Chris at 1-9. We, as you said before, we've been sort of a little collab, working together, sharing strategies and whatever. MD Sports, Elite PC Repairs. You guys for putting the broadcast on, and for the admin running the show. That's good. Keep it up.
Alrighty, thank you, Craig. And that is our podium. So, Craig Roffey with the win at Kentucky Speedway. Andy Barber coming home in second, and Chris Bleakley in third. On the comms tonight was myself, Paul, and joined by James Watson in the booth, and Kobe Jordan behind the cameras. But for us, that is another week done and dusted. Hope everyone at home enjoyed the racing tonight. Green flag all the way for 100 laps. And sure the boys in the seats loved that one as well. But from us, we will be at Kansas Speedway next week. So don't forget to tune in next Sunday night. And if anyone tuning in wants to have a run, you can join the OzOval V8 Supercar League. The ID was just on the screen there, or you can look up on the Facebook page there as well. So from everyone here tonight, we wish you all a good night, and hopefully we'll see you again next week.